The Aga Khan, a figure of immense influence not just in religious circles but also in global philanthropy and culture, passed away at the age of 88. His death, which occurred on February 4, 2025 in Lisbon, Portugal, marked the end of an era for millions of followers of the Ismaili Muslim sect, of which he had been the spiritual leader for over 6 decades. The Aga Khan was far more than just a religious leader. He was a symbol of benevolence and an embodiment of the potential for wealth and spirituality to coexist for the betterment of humanity. His life, filled with both public admiration and personal complexities, was defined by a commitment to global development, charitable giving, and an unwavering dedication to the welfare of those in need. The Aga Khan's story began in Switzerland, where he was born into an influential and noble family. His lineage was steeped in history and tradition, tracing back to the Prophet Muhammad himself through his daughter Hazrat Bibi Fatima and her husband Hazrat Ali. It is from this distinguished ancestry that the Aga Khan's followers believed he drew his divine guidance and leadership. For them, he was not just a man but a spiritual beacon, a direct descendant of the Prophet who embodied the values of faith, compassion, and wisdom. His followers, known as Ismailis, regarded him as the Imam, a title denoting spiritual leadership, and also as the bringer of life, a figure capable of providing spiritual direction and guidance for millions. Though the Aga Khan's influence was not confined to religious matters, it was clear that his deep connection to his faith was central to his worldview. His work, both on a spiritual and material level, touched every corner of the world. After inheriting the title of Aga Khan in 1957 at the age of 20 following the death of his grandfather, he quickly became a leader not just in the Ismaili community but in a much broader global context. The Aga Khan's vision transcended the typical limitations of religion or geography, embracing a holistic view of humanity that sought to improve the quality of life for all people, regardless of their backgrounds. The Aga Khan's commitment to philanthropy, particularly through the Aga Khan Development Network (AKDN), was his most enduring legacy. Founded by the Aga Khan, the AKDN became one of the largest and most comprehensive development organizations in the world, with a focus on improving quality of life through initiatives in healthcare, education, rural development, and the promotion of civil society. His leadership in these fields was nothing short of revolutionary. The Aga Khan's vast wealth and influence allowed him to fund major projects across the globe, from the construction of schools and hospitals in rural Africa to promoting sustainable development initiatives in Central Asia. His efforts in building bridges between cultures, often in the most challenging of circumstances, cemented his reputation as a statesman and philanthropist. But while the Aga Khan's public image was one of a benevolent ruler and a passionate humanitarian, his private life was often more tumultuous. In spite of his considerable wealth, which included vast estates, luxury yachts, and a world-renowned horse racing operation, his personal relationships were not without challenges. He was married twice, and both unions were marked by media attention and public scrutiny. His first marriage, to British model Sally Crokerpool in 1969, produced 3 children, including his eldest son, Prince Rahim, who was expected to succeed him as Imam of the Ismaili community. However, after 25 years of marriage, the couple divorced. His second marriage to Princess Gabrielle Zulainingen, a former German pop singer who converted to Islam and adopted the name Inaera, also ended in separation after 6 years. This highly publicized breakup was marked by claims of infidelity and surveillance, further complicating the Aga Khan's image as a spiritual leader. In addition to his personal life, the Aga Khan's wealth and lifestyle were often subjects of fascination and intrigue. He was known to own several multi-million-dollar properties, including his sprawling estate in Aiguemont, France. His most famous possession, however, was his racing yacht, a Lamchar, a symbol of his wealth and love of the sport. His passion for horse racing extended to owning some of the most successful and famous racehorses in history, including the legendary Shergar, a racehorse who captured the public's imagination with his record-breaking victory in the 1981 Epsom Derby. Shergar, with his striking white blaze and socks, became a national hero before being stolen in 1983 in a brazen act of horse theft that remains unsolved to this day. Despite his lavish lifestyle, the Aga Khan was also an avid skier and even represented Iran in the 1964 Winter Olympics, a testament to his broad range of interests and talents. These personal passions were in stark contrast to his public persona as a devout leader committed to the betterment of humanity. He carefully balanced these two aspects of his life, using his wealth and status to fund projects that had a lasting impact on global development. His philanthropic work was, in many ways, an extension of his deep sense of duty to his faith and the world around him. The Aga Khan's charitable activities were as varied as they were vast. In 2023 alone, the Aga Khan Foundation disbursed over £58 million in support of global development initiatives. The foundation's work was especially evident in the areas of education, healthcare, and rural development, with particular emphasis on improving the lives of those in underdeveloped and war-torn regions. One of the most notable areas of his philanthropic impact was his tireless efforts in Central Asia, Tanzania, and Afghanistan, where his organization worked alongside the UK government to improve access to education and healthcare, particularly for women and girls. The Aga Khan's commitment to improving the quality of life for these communities was rooted in his belief that every person, regardless of their background, deserved the opportunity to live a fulfilling life. In addition to his work in development, the Aga Khan was an advocate for interfaith dialogue and understanding. He believed in the power of cultural exchange and worked tirelessly to foster understanding between different religions and cultures. His leadership in this area helped bridge divides in regions marked by tension and conflict. Perhaps one of the most notable examples of his diplomatic efforts was his involvement in the landmark 1985 summit between U.S. President Ronald Reagan and Soviet Premier Mikhail Gorbachev in Geneva, a pivotal moment in the Cold War. As a statesman, the Aga Khan was known for his calm, measured approach to diplomacy and his ability to engage in difficult negotiations. His legacy as a leader and philanthropist is also marked by his role in fostering peace and promoting cultural understanding around the world. The Aga Khan Development Network's work has left an indelible mark on the world, improving the lives of countless individuals and communities. The foundation's efforts to promote education, healthcare, and rural development continue to have a positive impact across the globe. The Aga Khan's death marks the end of a remarkable era, but his legacy will live on through the institutions he built and the countless lives he touched. His successor, who will be announced in due course, will have the daunting task of continuing his work and ensuring that the vision of the Aga Khan Development Network endures. For the Ismaili community, the Aga Khan's passing is a moment of profound loss, but his legacy will continue to inspire future generations to carry on his mission of improving the quality of life for all people, regardless of their faith or background. The Aga Khan's death also marks the end of an era for the horse racing world, as he was one of the most influential figures in the sport. His passion for horses and his commitment to breeding the finest racehorses, including Shergar, made him a legend in the equestrian world. But even in his passing, the Aga Khan's legacy is not defined solely by his wealth or his racehorses. It is defined by his commitment to humanity, his dedication to improving the world, and his unwavering belief in the power of faith and charity to change lives for the better.